Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. Today I am going to teach you adaptation in animals. In previous video we studied about adaptation in plants. Now we see adaptation in animals, how animals adjust with their surroundings. Students, if you not seen that video, you see it first. Now let's start. Make a list of animals in your surroundings. Compare the diversity of animals listed by your friends with your list. Discuss the habitats, food habitats, characteristics of body structures like vertebral column, wings, gills, tails, etc. and prepare a chart. There are different diversity of animals, just like habitats, food habits, characteristics of body structure like vertebral column, wings, gills, tail. Some animals have this and some animals doesn't it. What differences do you see between terrestrial and aquatic animals? As compared to terrestrial animals, the skin and body shape of aquatic animals appear to have undergone changes. As compared to terrestrial animals, the aquatic animals' shape appear to have undergone changes. Fishes have scales on the skin and fins on the body. Their body tapers towards both its ends like a spindle. Undergone means pass through some changes. And tapers. Tapers means reduce in thickness towards one or both ends. In case of fish, the body is tapers in both sides like a spindle. Fish breathe with gills instead of a nose. Their eyes have transparent eyelids. They have air bladders with the body to help them to float. In fish, in their bodies, it present air bladders so they can float, and they breathe with gills instead of a nose, and it have transparent eyelids. In textbook you can see in the figure 1.10, here shows gills, scales on fish, fins, and look here, the fish body is tapered towards both ends. Observe the bodies of the frog, duck and tortoise. First, of what use are their legs to these animals? What helps frogs to breathe underwater? Of what use are the long hind legs of a frog? Why doesn't a duck get wet in water? Now we see detailed description of the frog, duck and tortoise bodies. As the frog and duck have webbed toes, they can use their legs like oars. Water flows of the waxy feathers of birds like duck and water hen. Webbed toes, slippery, smooth skin and a triangular head help frogs to swim easily through water. They can live on land as well as in water due to their ability to breathe through the skin in water and using the nose and lungs on land. The typical colors of a frog's back help it to hide among grasses. As the frog and duck have webbed toes. Webbed means what? Bird toes are connected by skin to help it when swimming. When they swimming, these webbed toes help it, and they are connected with each other by skin, means these are the webbed toes. Frog and duck have these webbed toes. They can use their legs like oars. Now, water flows of the waxy feathers of birds like duck and water hen. On duck and water hen, the waxy feathers are present, so water flows off easily. Water cannot stop there. Webbed toes, slippery, smooth skin, and a triangular head help frogs to swim easily through water. Webbed toes is also help them. Slippery, smooth skin also help them to swim, and a triangular head also help frog swim in the water. Can live on land as well as in water due to their ability to breathe through the skin. By skin, they can breathe in water and using the nose and lungs on land. When they travel on land, that time they use nose and lungs. When they are in water, that time they use the skin for breathing. The typical colors of frogs' back help it to hide among grasses. Because of these colors, they can hide in grasses. Frogs have some different colors regarding their surroundings, so they can hide among grasses. Make a list of the names of some other amphibians you know and study their adaptations. Some examples of amphibians are salamander, salamander fish, toads, leopard frogs. These are the some examples. They can both live in water as well as on land. Adaptation in forest and grassland. Animals. Carnivorous animals like the wild dog, fox, tiger, and lion have strong legs to run fast and capture their prey. They have claws and their canine teeth are sharp and pointed. What is the function of such teeth? We know carnivorous animals are dependent on animals to survive, so they have claws and their canine teeth. By these teeth, they can easily tear their flesh and they can easily eat it. So, their canine teeth are very sharp and pointed, and their legs also very strong. Tigers have padded paws. This enables them to silently stalk their prey and capture it easily. The eyes of predatory carnivores are located in the front of their head. It helps them to spot their prey from a long distance. Stalk means what? To follow an animal or person as closely as possible without being seen or heard, so they can capture it easily. The eyes of predatory carnivores are located in the front of their head. Their eyes are located in the front of their head, so it helps them to spot their prey from a long distance. For capturing their prey, their body is slowly changed. The eyes of herbivores are below the forehead. In carnivorous animals, the eyes are on forehead. But in herbivorous animals, the eyes are located below the forehead on their side of head. This gives them wide angle vision which helps to protect them from predators. Their legs are long and tapering with strong hooves. Hooves means what? The hard part of the foot, so they can run easily. Their legs are long and tapering with strong hooves, which enables them to run fast, taking long leaps, so they can take long leaps. Their long and freely moving ears can receive sounds from long distances and different directions. Because of these long and freely moving ears, they can receive sounds from long distances and different directions. Because they can move their ears. Deer and black bucks have colors that merge with their surroundings. Their teeth are strong for chewing tough plant material. Because of their color, they can merge in their surroundings, and the teeth of these animals are strong, so they can chew tough plants also. By this way, they can protect themselves from predators. Now we see adaptation in desert animals. Deserts are characterized by severe scarcity of water. Hence, desert animals have a thick skin to prevent loss of water from the body. Their legs are long with flat and cushioned soles. The nostrils are protected by folds of skin. The eyelashes are long and thick. Rats, snakes, spiders, lizards in deserts live in deep burrows during daytime and are active at night. We know scarcity means what? Lack of water. In deserts, there is lack of water. So, desert animals have a thick skin. Because of thick skin, they can prevent loss of water from the body. So, water will lose in less quantity. Their legs are long with flat and cushioned soles. Soles means what? The lower area of toes. This toes area is cushioned. Because of these cushioned soles, they cannot feel more heat from earth. The nostrils are protected by folds on nostrils. There are folds of skin. This folding of skins prevent from heat. The eyelashes are long and thick. Rats, snakes, spiders, lizards in deserts live in deep burrows during daytime. During daytime, there is heat, so they cannot survive on daytime on earth. So they are active at night. Adaptation in animals of snowy regions. From the internet, download images of animals like elk, polar bear, white fox, silver fox, mountain goat, Siberian husky dog, and snow leopard. Compare these images with those of similar animals from tropical forest. Tropical forest means in snowy regions. In snowy forest, these types of animals we see. Now we see how these animals adapt themselves in their atmosphere with their surroundings. A white or silver body color, long thick hair on the skin are typical characteristics of animals of snowy region. How are these useful to them? A white or silver body color and long thick hair on the skin of these animals prevent from cold, extreme cold of this region. In this way, they can survive in snowy regions. Adaptation in aerial animals. What is the main differences between vehicles on the road and aeroplanes? Yes, we can differentiate it. Vehicles we can drive on road, and aeroplanes we fly in air. The spindle-shaped body of birds also minimizes the resistance of air while flying. In case of birds, this spindle-shaped body, this shape also minimizes the resistance of air so they can fly. The body of insects also is light in weight and tapers are both ends. They can fly with 2 pairs of wings and also walk with 6 sticks like legs. Bats can fly with the help of the patagium, a thin fold of skin between their forelegs and hind legs. In insects, we see they are in lightweight and they are tapers both sides, so they can fly easily with 2 pairs, and because of these legs they can walk also, and they can fly also with wings. In case of bats, bats can fly with help of the patagium. Patagium means what? A thin fold of skin between their forelegs and hind legs. In between forelegs and hind legs there is thin fold skin so they can fly easily. Observe the various birds and insects in your area. Adaptation in reptiles. Observe from a distance how snakes and earthworms creep. Which organs do they use for creeping? Are there any special changes for that purpose? Note any such changes. Animals like house lizard, garden lizard, crocodile use their muscles for creeping. Similarly, they show adaptations in skin, soles of feet, body color, etc. For example, the house lizard and monitor lizards have clawed toes and thin soles, whereas snakes have a scaly skin. In these types of animals, they use their muscles for creeping. Similarly, they show adaptation in skin. Example is here given. The house lizard and monitor lizards have clawed toes and thin soles, whereas snakes have a scaly skin. In snake, we observe there is scaly skin, but in case of house lizard and monitor lizard, they have clawed toes and thin soles is present. Adaptation for food in animals. We can categorize animals as herbivorous and carnivorous. Specially, adaptations are seen in each category to make the process of feeding easy. We will discuss this in greater detail in the chapter on nutrition. Watch the programs on channels like National Geographic, Wild, Discovery, etc. to learn about the feeding habits of animals like frogs, snakes, birds, mosquitoes, butterflies, etc. Adaptation for blending with the surroundings. We cannot easily spot colorful butterflies, lizards, and grasshoppers. They get camouflaged amidst grasses, parts of plants like stem, leaves, flowers, etc. That is because their colors blend with those of their surroundings. In case of butterflies, lizards, grasshoppers, they mix with their surroundings. Camouflaged means mix, amidst means with surroundings such as grasses, parts of plants like stem, leaves, flowers, so they cannot easily spot. That is because their colors blend with those of their surroundings. They blend with surroundings. They easily mix with their surroundings. Changes that take place in the various organs and life processes of organisms that enable them to live, feed, reproduce, to perpetuate themselves and protect themselves from their enemies in specific surroundings, depending upon the habitat and its geographical conditions, are called adaptations. Now we see here what is the mean of adaptation. Adaptation means changes that takes place in the various organs and life processes of organisms that enable them to live, that enable them to survive, feed, reproduce, to perpetuate. Perpetuate means to keep alive, so they can keep it alive. They enable to live also and feed, reproduce. They can reproduce to keep alive themselves and protect themselves from their enemies, so they can protect themselves from enemies also in specific surroundings, with their surroundings, depending upon the habitat and its geographical conditions. Depending upon the habitat means their place and its geographical conditions, means their atmosphere, geographical atmosphere, so they can survive there, so they can adjust with their surroundings. This is called adaptations. This is regarding plants also and in animals also. Always remember, adaptation is not a sudden process. It is gradual and continuous differences in the structure and appearance of present day animals and animals of thousands of years ago are the adaptations that occurred according to prevailing conditions. It is our duty to conserve this diversity. Darwin's theory of evolution. Charles Darwin, a biologist, studied numerous types of plants and animals, and suggested that only those organisms are likely to survive which can best adapt themselves to a changing environment. This is called the theory of survival of the fittest. This is Darwin's first principle. In Darwin's first principle stated, animals that only those organisms are likely to survive. They likely to survive which can best adapt. If they like to survive, then they can best adapt themselves to a changing environment. In changing environment, they can adapt themselves if they like. This is the first principle of Darwin's. If an organism is born with a new beneficial characteristic and is able to survive, this change is preserved in the next generation. This is Darwin's second principle and is called the theory of natural selection. This theory is called natural selection, and in this theory they suggest organisms is born with a new beneficial characteristics. If an organism is born with a new beneficial characteristics and is able to survive, so this change is preserved in the next generation also. This is the second principle. And in the first principle, this principle is called the theory of survival of the fittest. Classification of living organisms. Why are living things classified? Which are the criteria used for classification of plants and animals? It is difficult to study and remember all the organisms in this diverse living world at the same time. Classification helps in this respect. When we classify plants as well as animals, then we can study it easily. So, this classification is most important. Different scientists have used different criteria and independently classified plants and animals. A hierarchy is formed in the classification that starts with kingdom Animalia or kingdom Plantae. Further, groups and subgroups are formed depending upon basic similarities and differences. This is called the hierarchy of classification. In the classification, they are classified into the major two groups. First one is the kingdom Animalia and kingdom Plantae. In textbook, a chart is present with example. Binomial nomenclature by Carl Linnaeus. Binomial nomenclature means what? A system of naming plants and animals in which each species is given a name consisting of two terms, of which the first name, the genus, and the second, species itself. Imagine that there are 4 students with a name Kabir or Kiran in a classroom. If you are talking about any one of them, how would you ensure that others know which one of them you are talking about without any confusion? We would tell the full name, that is the first name and the last name. This is similar to binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature is used to identify each organism. Accordingly, a scientific name has been assigned to each organism. It consists of two parts. The first part is genus and second species. All identified organisms. For identify to the organisms, the first name is given as genus and second is the species. By this way, we can identify two organisms easily. All defined organisms have been assigned a binomial name as per the guidelines of the International Code of Nomenclature. All the organisms of a species are so similar that irrespective of differences in color, height, habitats, and habits, they can reproduce among themselves and form new individuals like themselves. For example, all domestic cats in the world belong to the same species. The same is true in the case of animals like hen, cow, dog, etc., and plants like mango, wheat, maize, etc. Following are some examples of organisms from kingdom Plantae and Animalia classified by the binomial method of nomenclature. All these are the living things and all these are the scientific name. Do you understand this chapter, student? How plants and animals adapt themselves into their surroundings? How it is possible? You read this chapter carefully and understand with given word meanings. Word meanings I already provided you in the first video. You see it and learn the hard words so you can understand easily this chapter. If you have any doubt, you comment. If you like this video, you share and subscribe to my channel. I will provide you question answers in next video. Okay, bye. Take care.